Welcome to day 3 of VCT Game Changers APAC Elite. We continue our upper bracket run today, so nobody's going home because it is Tash's birthday. Everybody has to stay happy today. Happy birthday, Tash! We have to start the stream like that. Come on. Happy birthday,
so
girl.
It's also my first day on broadcast today. I don't know if it's our first time on broadcast together, Mika. Regardless, happy to be here. And today is one of the days where me and Mika are completely matching in pink because it's my birthday and everyone has to wear pink on my birthday. Also,
We did not talk about
the
this.
girlies. Yeah, it was totally unplanned.
Telepathy. Believe it, guys. Believe it. Just like you're believing in our game changers you're here so far. And Tash, like I was telling Holden actually the other day, right? I think it's so cool how like all of the teams here at Elite, right? They seem to be so representative of the game changers like circuit so far, right? You have teams that have been here since like Open 1, for example. You have teams that clutch through the last chance qualifier. You have teams that, are even you have players are even making a comeback for this chance at Elite. So it seems so well-rounded. You have so many different stories coming in here just for this one chance, that one singular slot of APAC all the way to champions. So it's pretty cool to see everybody come together.
Yeah, because of there's only being one slot, is more and more competitive. But again, as you mentioned before, the different storylines makes it so spicy. And on top of that, not only the storylines, but also the backgrounds. We have newbies, we have old comers, we have vets coming back to the scene. And I think out of all of the game changers that I have hosted / casted in the last year and so this one, this is the most exciting.
Definitely. We can also see how much these teams have changed, right? Throughout all of these years, right? You have SMG in top form right now. And you have Full Sense Sapphire not too far behind as well. You have RRQ with these like amazing plays. There's so many players here whose arcs we're seeing develop before our very eyes. And it's so great to watch. And right now, as we take a look back at our roadmap, just to refresh your memory, everybody, we did have 3 open so far. And our last chance qualifier where we had 2 slots. And those slots were taken by Nick Kyose and of course MLT Esports. And right now we have this, our final step to champions, right? And we also have a $35,000 prize pool here for all of these teams. And Tash, that of course adds more pressure, but not so much than that singular slot of APAC to Sao Paulo, Brazil, right? 2 champions to be up against everybody, all of the other game changers teams throughout the VCT regions.
I think that everyone has their own motivation to go to the grand finals. Like RRQ Kaguya, I'm sure that for the girls who were previously in Alter Ego Celeste, that slot was, last minute taken away from them by Full Sense Sapphire. Full Sense Sapphire wanted to show everyone why they qualified in the first place and actually go a lot further than they did last time. We have SMG who felt like they were always at second place. Orangutan X, the newcomers from last year who wants to make a bang. We have Asayat NWJ who last year didn't seem to really clinch it, but this year looking very, very strong. Global Esports Phoenix, who I would say, a team that really wants to make on top and just show all of India that they are the best. MLT new from LCQ and also Nick Kyose for Fifi, obviously. With a $35,000 prize pool, this is the bonus they are looking for on top of a full expense paid trip to compete in Brazil,
to match up against all of the other game changers teams all around the world. And that's what's so exciting, to be on that global stage, right? It's what fuels you as an athlete, as a competitor, right? And for all of these ladies, it's that pinnacle, right, of a year thus far. For, like, as you mentioned, there are so many stories now that have come into fruition just because of how long Game Changers has been going on. That grudge match between RQ Kaguya and Team SMG and Full Sense Sapphire, this 3-way kind of grudge match, right? Full Sense Sapphire definitely scrambling to defend that title, and Team SMG, as you mentioned, formerly always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but now they have been undefeated thus far. Are they going to continue their win streak over here? They haven't dropped a series yet this entire year, Tash. That's amazing. They have not lost at all.
It just shows how how strong and how dominant they are in how they play. I mean, when you look at SMG, I would say that confidence is key here. It's very rare that we see those shaky moments, but I have to say, out of all these teams, SMG has one of the best mental that we can expect to see in this APAC Elite. Now, coming into today's story, starting off the day, we have SMG versus Orangutan X, followed by Full Sand Sapphire and RRQ. Now, Full Sand Sapphire and RRQ, as you mentioned before, will be a grudge match. RRQ trying to get what's theirs, and Full Sand Sapphire wants to prove that they have what it takes to continue. But for SMG, they have been collecting the best of the best players here in Asia Pacific, like Pokemon, and they've had them in their pocket. And they want to show that this is what they have and what they can prove to move on forward. Now, for Orangutan X, I think that for a while there was a lot of questions when it comes to their roster shuffles. They were changing their roster a lot, and I think that they were trying to figure out what will be the best combination in terms of chemistry, in terms of teamwork, in terms of firepower. And out of all the tournaments they have played this year, personally to me, I think the game that they played on Monday felt like the most solid I've seen them so far, with the return of Sway.
Yeah, we missed her quite a lot, right? And that's weird, she came on for the interview. It's like, hey, welcome home, Sway. We missed you. It really does show, right? And it's gonna be quite a challenge because, yes, she is coming back, but she did have a break. So that chemistry, finding it, and is it enough time for them to find that, especially since they're up against Team SMG today, right? And again, that grudge match between Full Sand Sapphire and RQ, that's gonna be an exciting one. Tash, I think we could get our very first map 3 today. It's been 2 zeros all around so far. I believe that we could finally be getting that map 3. Who knows, right?
The birthday buff.
yeah. They wanna keep you on here. They're like, hey, you gotta celebrate with us. It is your birthday, so stay with us a little bit longer over here at the Game Changers. Be on broadcast a bit longer.
I mean, what a way to celebrate my birthday. I mean, Valorant is such a big part of my life, and what a great way to celebrate my 16th birthday.
Oh yeah, happy 16th, Tash.
Thank you so much.
We cannot wait to see the rest of your career, and you blossom into a beautiful young woman.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll be competing next year, guys. I'm just kidding. But the first series kicking off today, SMG versus Orangutan X. For you guys in the chat, I would love to know your predictions and what you are expecting to see. So put it in the comments, and hopefully production will let us know.
That is absolutely right. And do greet Tash a happy birthday as well. And while you guys are typing away, we're gonna check out this video featuring the members of Team SMG.
We talk a lot about firepower and individual prowess from SMG, but we don't really talk about what it takes to make a good team. Now, SMG, when you talk about them, again, I will always highlight this. They are a team, one of the few teams that has a mental coach to keep them in check. When that tilt happens, that I would say that timeout happens, they know what exactly to do to just bring themselves back into their mind, from their minds into their bodies, to just really refocus on themselves. And on top of that, with the change of their coach as well, from Fal to Cobalt, I did have a few questions as to what is going to change in the team, but it feels like nothing at all has changed. They have worked with them before, it looks solid and really, really good. And most importantly, the chemistry that they have is because they are literally besties.
Yeah, you can tell. You look at them in the interviews, you see them hugging each other all the time. That closeness is also what makes this, it's an X factor for this team, right? Especially since you need that have mind, you need that chemistry to come in, especially in such a high pressure situation just at Elite, right? Right now, they will be up against Orangutan X though, and speaking of high pressure situations, OGX has faced off against Team SMG several times in the past, and this demon is quite a big one to overcome. So let's take a closer look at the ladies from OGX.
return of Sway as well as Mythica to this roster is sort of an ode to their former roster, plus their new one. Their firepower is looking so good, and I have a feeling that this is one of their most solid rosters of all time. Again, Orangutan X showing us that it's not over until the orangutan sings. They are a team that can go 4-8, 9-3, 10-1 at one point, and they still can come back and win it till the end. So that's just how good these girls are in terms of mental, in terms of coming back, and in terms of really solidifying the rounds. Yes, it is a little bit slow in terms of their start, but once they figure the other team out, the other team better watch out.
That is absolutely right. I love that you brought that up because just the other day, right, against MLT, they had that amazing 11-round comeback. And that was just a testament, a reminder to everybody that why OGX is here, right? They are the dark horse for this tournament, but are there dark days ahead from OGX? That's a big question because they are facing the big bad that is Team SMG. This is quite a big one because this is a match that has also happened a lot of times in the past, right, Tash? SMG has been incredibly dominant in the past 3 times these teams have faced off against each other this year. And the most successful map that OGX has had against Team SMG, it was an open 3, and OGX were able to get 7 rounds.
Yeah,
that was the most successful one.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, honestly, I don't want to say deja vu here. I don't want to jinx anything. But if history were to repeat itself, remember, we saw AECL last year in a very almost clean run throughout the entire year before that spot was last minute taken away. So that's very gut-wrenching, especially for RQ, but that's a story for another day. But I'm just saying that we are seeing the same patterns happening. But it depends so much on whether or not they are going to be, I would say, I mean, yeah, mental-wise, both these teams are very strong. Well, with SMG, with their in-house psychologists, and Orangutan X, who just literally don't know when to quit. It's basically it's like a mental warfare between these two girls. It could be a back and forth. But again, SMG really showing us, like, I don't really want to just like keep saying like, oh, SMG, but they've been showing us again and again why exactly that everyone should be fearing them. Like even on Twitter, whenever the girls are about to go on a game against maybe Nyx Kyose, I see they'll be saying, "Please, Mama, mercy."
I mean, because right, like we see the win streak that they've had so far, and you begin to ask, I love that you brought up the mental coach for Team SMG, because with a win streak that long, you kind of have that psychological warfare against yourself, right? How long can this victory run last? All the way to Brazil, maybe? I mean, it looks possible, but sometimes it's like that additional pressure of like, oh my god, we've never lost, we have to keep this going. That can also be something that can work against them, right? And it's just themselves. It's a battle against themselves. And for OGX, of course, they just have to hold on and brace themselves for what's about to happen. If they can withstand that, then they can suddenly switch on that special X factor they have, that power to rally back when everything is back. It's like you're back against the wall. They suddenly have this primal rage that comes out as apes together come strong.
Apes together strong indeed. Now, I think that for Haven yesterday, it wasn't very like a super dominant win against MLT, not yesterday, the day before yesterday. OGX still showing us why they're very comfortable on that map. And I think for this map in particular, it has been their pick for about, I think, 2 or 3 opens from now on. Now, the question is, because there's a lot of VODs and information available to everyone on how exactly they play this map, my question is, are they sure do they want to play this map? Are they going to get counter-stratted? Or is SMG just saying, you know what, we can take them because we are very confident in how we play? And I'm a bit disappointed we didn't see Sunset, because again, Nyx Kyose was the one who picked that against SMG, but SMG was very, very brave. It was very aware how exactly to play that map. So it does show that for a map like Sunset or even Ascent, where aggression can be key on certain rounds, it does show that it's best to have banned that out. I think OGX knows that.
Yeah, it's the same problem, right? It's like against Team SMG, you want to put your best foot forward, but when you put your best foot forward, it's not exactly a bad foot for Team SMG either, right? It's like, okay,
No.
let's say they brought out Sunset. It's not exactly a great map for OGX either, right? And at least sure you have some info, but it's not too comforting, right?
No,
And
I mean,
goes
it's
for
only one
every
map.
single map.
Yeah, it was only
exactly.
played once. That's one thing. And number two, you don't really know whether or not that map was prepped by SMG or it was just them reacting to Nick's Kyose. So again, a lot more data is needed. But I think for a lot of teams that players that I've spoken to, they do prefer playing on comfort picks than to ban out their opponent's best maps. Because sometimes I think, like we talked about in the broadcast, like why would you let that team pick that map? Or like we know that this map is their strongest team, but perhaps because they were comfortable enough and they are confident enough that they would be all right on that map to take them. But again, it comes back to how much prep that has been done. For SMG and OG, both these maps are maps that they have played a lot. Bots available everywhere. In terms of counter prepping in general, I think both teams should be prepared. Now for SMG, it's more about Cobalt. Like what exactly has he done to prep? What changes has he made? Is there an effect on the team now that, you know, their coach has changed? It's been quite a while since the shuffle, from what I heard. It was, I think, toward the end of Open 3, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that. I'll double check later. There is a lot of time for them to prep, especially since LCQ was going on. But for OG, I think a lot of us were questioning. I mean, Sway took a break. She went to another game for a while. Does this affect how she plays the game is number one. And number two, but the thing is, we saw that chemistry, but is it a honeymoon phase, as mentioned before?
Ayo, we are bringing back the Neon over here on Haven. We saw Twirly do massive damage.
Oh, her entry was amazing.
The other day. Oh yeah. And the Chamber, welcome back again, sir. I'm looking forward to this face-off, you know, so much. Inari and Twirly, right? Both super hyper aggressive duelists. So this should be a treat to watch instead. Twirly with the, you know, aggressive entries and Inari with these, you know, impossible sheriff shots that she does. You know, just don't peek Inari no matter what you do.
I'm not gonna lie, I think when I first started casting Game Changers or even hosting it, I was always looking forward to looking at Alexi and Japip's Sova. So now on this map, they're both playing this agent. I'm super stoked to see which Sova will diff who.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so exciting indeed.
Right.
As well as, you know, all the combinations that are coming in here. Two very different compositions. Which one is going to triumph? Let's find out as we toss it on over to Quacks and Dax. Quacks and Dax.
Mika, you want the duo? You want the solo? Pick a name already. But come on, we're gonna pick apart, of course, an incredible series for you, ladies and gents, because this is a blast from the past, Quack. This is practically a rematch of Open 1 finals, and I fully expect to have some of the best games moving forward from this point on. But just to reiterate, I am Dax. He is Quack. Together, we are Quacks. And there you have it, man. How you doing? Because I'm so hyped for this game.
I'm good. I mean, yesterday's games were pretty hype as well. I mean, it was clean sweeps all across the board, but you could see a lot of improvements from all of the teams. And I think that carries forth today as well, because we're seeing these different compositions. And yeah, compare that to Open 1. It's a very, very different story.
Yeah, and especially Orangutan X, right? We've already noted what they've brought to the table. They have this Neon, they have this Chamber, such a strong look versus MLT last time around. And I want to point this out, actually. It's a bit of a fun fact, because while Orangutan X has had Haven to be basically their best pick throughout the year in terms of maps, they banned it a lot back in Open 3. Finally, to bring it back to rotation. As Cal has mentioned, they brought back, of course, one of the standouts before in Sway, who got the first night kill of the tournament. So I do wonder, with the return of the Orangutan X form, will they finally be able to take a map, heck, even a series off SMG?
I think this is where they have their highest chance, Dax. I mean, it's also the return of the Neon in their composition, and now the Chamber being brought out as well. It comes down to how sharp they can be, but also how swift they can be with hitting their sights, especially with the fact that they're starting out on the attack. When you're playing against a team like SMG, though, of course, you always got to be on your tippy toes.
Yeah, it's Team SMG. What more can be said? The Juggernaut all throughout the year haven't dropped a single series at all. One thing to note, though, they have dropped a map on Haven versus Full Send Sapphire Orangutan X. Same history all throughout the year. Only one though can stand in SMG. You notice here, Quack, it's their usual composition. They love to run the Astra and the Breach together. You got Inari, of course, on the Jet. And we kick things off with the Orangutan playing it slow towards the middle area.
Don't want to be too aggressive just yet. First round can factor in for so much. And especially up against SMG with such a composition, there's so much they can do if it's timed correctly, right? The gravity well, the fault line, which has already been used. But here we go, just walking straight into B site.
Yeah, and I'm watching out for Twirly here to find ways to break the usual pace that SMG plays, that Neon can get into places you don't expect from. B-side taken here by Orangutan, and Alexi has a plan. Signature Sova perhaps, as Kohibi finding Sway, cameo on the board as well.
Oh my god.
Is this a good clear from SMG towards the site? How about here offside? Japip still with a fight back at the very least. Window position usable here for Orangutan X, and Neri trying to find the angle if ever. The smoke is into play. Shirazi on the E3, shot start flies, but SMG will deny any kind of glory. All left to Twirly, no chance whatsoever. It will be SMG to take pistol.
Completely prepared, and they just knew exactly. Everyone peeked out of that bubble at the same time, Dax. SMG, that's what they do. I mean, when you have Alexi trying to create a bit of havoc from behind, that's good. That said, Japips did take her down, but then you still have to deal with everyone else coming up from the front of B site, and that's where SMG just already knew. As soon as they heard the whirring of those shock darts flying through, all right, it's time to go and peek.
Come on, SMG has the strongest front line we've ever seen in Game Changers history. They've been a powerhouse so far. Winning that fight already on site made it so clear what the basic confidence SMG would have. It's just Orangutan. Sure, the fight back was there from the back line, but they're gonna need more of that. They're gonna need to see a bit of impact from Twirly and Aruma, especially right now, to stand a chance against SMG's defense.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, especially when you consider every single player from SMG having like above 20% headshot percentage. They're all just that accurate, that confident in taking these duels. And right now, they're just taking their time too. OGX, on the other hand, without the best weaponry, right? They got to make this one count. They got to do as much as possible. So setting up for a C split right now, Dax.
Might as well. You have Casper there on the lurk over Cubby. Perhaps can clear that utility if ever, but Orangutan, the rest of the force, and Shock Dart flies
That's a chunk.
and is electrifying here from SMG. Shots ring, Kohibi's there. Casper, though, perfect timing from her, but the rest of SMG following suit to get the kills. OGX, the fight back's there though, but just Pips is caught in the act by Cambu. 2v1 now. Twirly with 17 HP, looking to find a little bit of impact. Spike over onto the corner.
I got
but a
Spike.
single spray, a single shot from Aneri, it should be enough to get this kill. And
30 seconds
Cambu's
left.
waiting, so prepared and so ready for SMG.
Yeah, just watching every single quadrant on the map, and that's no escape at all for OGX in that round. But that said, it was a pretty good attempt. They managed to push down C long, and they got a couple of frags with pistols. So that's still good damage against SMG in this round. Don't count OGX out just yet.
As soon as Casper
30
peeked out right,
seconds.
perfect timing. And that's one thing Tash especially was mentioning on the panel. It seems like for Orangutan X, despite all the roster adjustments, they feel more acclimated as a 5 right now. They feel more coordinated, and that's exactly what they need here against Team SMG if they want to win the rifle round.
Exactly that. And they have a good chance at turning things around right now, Dax. Of course, they're a little bit more confident off of it, and I think that's why Twirly is just making a lot of presence known towards A, trying to pull some players from SMG's side over to this one spot. Got 3 stacking up towards A right now, and they actually have options. OGX could rotate to another side off of this.
Yeah. OGX, a map like this, especially with the Neon, chances to go away. But Aneri is suddenly found by Sway. Beautiful punish here from OGX.
Kind of bumped into the wall there.
Yeah, kind of just caught there. I didn't want to mention it, but I guess you did. In the end, though, Orangutan is already such a big pick. Might be even better if they do find Alexi here. Alexi instead. Shot to the Sheriff, Casper and Sway, though, on the board for OGX. And they're picking apart the defense bit by bit here, Black.
Yeah, here we go. That's how you kind of take down the front line, and then you open up the site. They have a lot more space to work with now, and SMG, on the other hand, rotating over a little bit. At the same time, if you pay attention to the minimap, Aruma from OGX is kind of pulling off a big lurk towards mid, and with that, she could set up a bit of a flank, so SMG has their work cut out for them.
Yeah, Kohibi, it's difficult now. The cross sets Sway also. Penalty here, the cross though comes from Kohibi. Beautiful smoke, and Kohibi up close, dangerous. She finds 2. Shirazi with the dink as well, just with the ghost of all things. And Casper, she will just be haunted by that damage. Shirazi on the board makes it a 1v1. But the lurk will finally find its target, making it matter when it's needed the most. OGX on the board.
How did what? They just live up to their name in that moment, Dax. They're moving under gunfire. They are using SMGs, wink wink, and Kohabi just walks up with a Spectre, getting so many shots off. And Shirazi with that movement and accuracy as well. She gets a dink and then the follow-up shot, thinking that the site was clear. But thankfully, like you mentioned, the one in the cape, Iruma, comes up to save the day.
And come on, you look at OGX composition. There's so much lurk potential between Casper, who did it in that second round, Iruma, who did it in that last round. There will always be a threat here from OGX on an off angle, and SMG needs to be wary. They go for the operator, though, quickly now, just to find a pick early on.
Yeah, trying to eliminate and thin the herd, as it were. And this time, Inari lands her shot.
There you have it. Absolutely a carnivore there. Finds her prey. Makes it -1, so OGX, they need to be wary. They played a bit slow a while ago. Now with the operator, they might need to pick up the pace instead.
And look, Inari's already repositioned. OGX is already thinking, all right, A might not be the best path. We have to explore other options. Perhaps B is where we want to go. But they also know that there are a lot of traps here. There are a lot of players that could be looking around the corners, and that's going to be Camus.
A single alert is enough for SMG to be in position. Moving now towards the links. There's no way to cross, Shirazi says, but twirling with the fight back. Kohabi now moving to the middle. Fault Light comes as well. And OGX, they're getting slowed to a snail's pace. This is perfect for SMG, but Iruma has another plan. Big frags now to open up the C site.
30 seconds left.
It's coming through. They managed to stick the plant, but still 24 HP. Iruma, unless you can land a lot of shots, it's going to be tough. But what is this?
Neri, oh my, Iruma though versus the world! Ooh. And she's still handling that weight. 30 HP left though. Rifle picked up here by Neri, goes for the tap. The rendezvous is set for Iruma, perhaps looking for another angle, but there's no way, no how, and Neri's at the ready. And it's another round here for SMG.
Very well played. She even went for like a little crouch towards the end just to throw off Iruma's crosshair, and I think she knew exactly to wrap around this box on the C site because she hurt that little jump peak, that little hop coming up from Iruma, and that just gave the positioning away, I guess. So, I mean, when you look at how OGX broke into the B site, it was good, it was sharp, but as soon as that happened, a lot of rotations came across from SMG. Kohabi peeked out of garage, they all wrapped back around, and they made use of their numbers advantage to secure the win. And with that, we've got a 3-1 right now, Dax. A lot of ultimates on OGX's side, though.
Yeah, it's just a little hard for SMG in that angle. One with the operator, there's no way to ring frag quickly. And I'm not too sure, since we saw the other cam, I'm not too sure if it was a leg shot from Inari or the rifle shots from her teammate. Either way, it just led to such a clutch 1v1 situation. And that's something we've seen so far. OGX putting SMG to the test every single round, and now we're moving into overdrive with Twirly. Hunter's Fury though gonna be the call for cover. Camille with the flash, but there's no escaping Twirly whatsoever. OGX, they draw first blood. They're going for the site as well, and I'm watching out for Kohabi right now. Over at Link, she might have the angle here.
Yeah, she's been waiting in that one spot for a very long time, looking for the opportune moment. But of course, spike planted towards A Link, and this is where OGX has set up camp, especially with Twirly at this overdrive. They're trying to find weapons, they're trying to take out players. Alexi trying to duel against them, making use of cover decks.
Oh, big picks here from OGX, especially on the lurk from Inari. She had the operator, so dangerous. Shirazi though on DP security, and can SMG get away with it? Shirazi throws don't fake, and she doesn't let go. The judge to add insult to injury, and the clutch comes from SMG.
Think about spacing, Dax. This has just gone too far off. And despite a good hit coming up from Orangutan X, SMG just plays off of it. We talked about Kohabi hiding around C-Link. She had Shirazi there for support as well. And as soon as OGX gave up space towards A-Link, as soon as they started going a lot farther away, some players kind of positioned towards mid-window, that's when Shirazi knew she had an opportunity to just put up that nebula, stick the defuse, and that brings us into the next round. We've got 4 ultimates from SMG side, and they can afford to go a bit more aggressive. And Neri now with the blades.
Blades out. Here we go yet again with his corner. And SMG, I guess the biggest concern right now is they play towards A long. Do they even have enough to support Inari in that angle? Camu is in position with the Rolling Thunder as ever. But the Aldro in this is dangerous, and Inari will bail out instead. Learned her lesson from before. OGX gets a bit of control here.
All right, not too bad. We've put up some walls as well, just to block off OGX's pathing, ensure that they're going to have to think about other parts of the map. Casper, of course, trying to poke in towards the B site, maybe just create a bit of presence, forcing SMG to use more utility, and that's what you want, because you give SMG less tools to work with. However, they're switching up positions as well. Look at Kohibi hiding inside a garage.
Warp. And look at Twirligo slides in like a hero, but unfortunately zeroed in like Kohibi. Here comes Kohibi yet again. 2 for her before her rampage is ended. So 4v3 for the time being. Casper in
30
position now
seconds left.
towards long. Just waiting for anyone to peek
Concealment.
if ever. Sets up the smokes. Moves forward. Guards there too. But look who's on the inside. Shiraz yet again. The Bane of B side. Ready with the judge inside the smokes. The Rolling Thunder into play. And no way, no entry says SMG.
Settle.
That Rolling Thunder was like... They knew they had the round. OGX were running out of time, but just to secure a couple more kills, just to secure the round win for sure. Don't allow Orangutan X to save up on their weapons or anything, right? Don't leave it up to chance. And that just speaks volumes about how SMG is playing this game right now, especially in Game Changers APAC Elite. They are hungry for that win, Dax.
And it just, I think it's such a ideology change here for Team SMG. It's something we were talking about a while ago pre-panel, where if you remember back in Open 1, back in the early days of Game Changers, Team SMG, they would run some of these compositions for fun. They'd have these multiple initiators, multiple controllers, and while they knew they could dominate, there were times where it felt like, okay, how will they adjust once it's a big threat? So far, especially in Open 3, so far, especially in Elite, right, you can see SMG has gone down to a more serious mindset that they want to secure that slot into Brazil from APAC as soon as possible in the most convincing way. And right now, especially in such a storied map for OGX, a map that they're so accustomed to, a 5-1 standing, it's looking really good here for Team SMG.
Yeah, it's hence the timeout from Orangutan X, right? They have to find a way, because this is their best chance at fighting up against SMG, their best chance at turning this into a 3-mapper. It's going to be tough, though. Still, SMG, despite the ultimate spent from the previous round, Kohibi still has her lockdown, Cosmic Divide is still available, and of course, Japips has her Hunter's Fury. OGX needs to make this round count.
Yeah, OGX looking for the split again. Just angled it from Widow. Alarm bot flies presence immediately. And that's Twirly now. Kicks it off to the high gear. She's clearing out this backside, so it seems like SMG plan now. Go for the retake. They have the lockdown to do so with.
Just waiting for the right time. Allowed them to go in for the spike plant. Maybe they could hold from Garage or C Long, or Orangutan X, that is.
Right
but
here.
Here comes SMG. Look at the positioning. Look at where Camille and Kohibi are pushing towards. The angle's being held by Aruma, though.
So ready, so prepared. Big pick from Aruma. Alexi though with a fight back. But they don't expect Kohibi to be there too. Another one bites the dust in front of Kohibi. Hunter's Fury now the call here from Japips. Desperation to try and go for the stall. The Cosmic Divide into play as well.
Okay.
And as the stars do align, this
Last
wall here
player
from SMG
standing.
providing so much protection. Nice shock dart there from Japips. A second one to boot. But Japips on the
Has
other
to peek.
side. Alexi bumps into her and she even hits the shot. SMG, look at the defuse. No, never mind. 0.02 Quack. The closest of margins, but OGX gets away with it.
Just by a thin line. Orangutan X ekes away a win, and that's just well played. Of course, the site hit, maybe it was a bit of chance. Maybe it's SMG not really anticipating the timer on that spike, but at the same time, the clear protocols and how they wanted to take control over Garage, how they wanted to fight. Japips with the shock darts was truly the MVP of that round.
Absolutely. So critical with the utility. She even was buying enough time by pushing into that Cosmic Divide to begin with. And sure, it got very, very close. I looked at the meter and I was like, no way, that's a defuse, right? And oh, it pops. Oh, 0.02. How do you even react to that, man? With OGX, you can see how strong their poke split has been so far. They're gonna go yet again with Twirly leading the forefront. Big pick towards Link. Here comes Alexi with the trade. 4v4 for the time being.
And it's another one of their default B hits. Here comes the lockdown, of course, but then it just creates a bit more space. What we saw from before was Shirazi with her Nebulas, and this time it's blocking off, doing the same thing. Can OGX fight back against this?
Yeah, Sway leading the charge.
No!
Flashes, and Alexi already on defuse duty. SMG, they win the round before the battle even begins. And so many people still alive. 8 players at the end of the round still up there, Quack.
They just keep doing it again and again, Dax. I mean, they know that they have this space. They know that they had that lockdown, and that was the whole game plan. As soon as Twirly was taken out of the equation,
That's it.
that's exactly, that is it. But it's also a little bit of a feels bad. Like Shirazi and Alexi being ex-teammates with Twirly going up against your teammate like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's familiarity, man. They just know what's happening. And now, we finally get the contest that was promised from the last round. A hit towards B, perhaps? A battle towards the window. It's 4v4. And OGX, they're moving towards C side instead, where Shirazi's waiting.
Look at all those stars, too.
Ooh, it's a constellation.
Take flight.
Is it a Big Dipper, or what are we looking at? It's
I
our
think-
North Star.
I think it's the Owl constellation. It's the Owl drone. Looks for intel, and Squirrely will hit that punch. Hunt the Fury, though. The call from afar. Alexi can't find much with it. And as Twirly yet again, the tip of the spear.
Hey.
I think that's a concern right now, Quack. Like, Twirly is so incredible at making space. But how far can OGX help her with the Neon making that much space to begin with? Camino already with the flashes. Casper on the board. Alexi with the trade. And as Neri provides pressure from afar, it's 3v2. Shock Dart rings. Here comes Alexi again, making space for herself. And it's a Roomba stuck in the corner. SMG
What?
with a duo to clear. It will be enough to still win the round.
This was a 3-on-4 situation turned into a 2-on-3 or whatnot. And yes, the duo just makes it work. That synergy, the chemistry they have between them, but also just sharp senses and mechanics. Look at how Alexi takes fights up around this box. The angles are isolated perfectly. She's never ever exposed too much to any unnecessary risks. And at the same time, I mean, OGX, unfortunately, despite, like you mentioned, Dax, amazing entries from Twirly. She's top fragging for a team right now, but the follow-up, the site holds, they're kind of falling apart whenever SMG kicks it up a notch.
Yeah, it's just the gap between Twirly and another player, and it's not even on the scoreboard. It's the literal sense. The space created by Twirly, I feel like for OGX, their post plant relies on staying away from the site, staying away from those kind of angles, and it's just that parallel right now that might be the problem here for OGX, and SMG is finding the middle to put themselves in. Here comes Aruma with one, and Nerito with a quick trade. The Rolling Thunder, so the answer, they want to punish Neri as soon as possible, and Twirly now looking around on the side, zapping down Kohabi, searching towards short. Here comes the stun as well, but Neri has other plans, gets the peek out, Op is here, but the stun will get the connection, and Sweet Princess good night, as Neri will fall to the hands of Twirly, swinging on the angle, but Twirly just zapping them all down. The overdrive, enough for OGX to get the round.
She's just twirling up in there like a ballerina, Dax. She's sliding all over the place, gliding across the battlefield, and like you mentioned, just zapping them down.
Look, I got one. I'm waiting for the moment. Look, Twirly in position everywhere and anywhere. She cleared out backside. She cleared out short, and she's like,
Everywhere.
oh, I gotta go back to backside. I gotta check out everything going on here.
Would you say it was everything, everywhere, all at once?
Yes, sir. There you go.
There we
It's
go.
the best picture thanks to Twirly and OGX. There's always a lifeline for them. There's always a chance. Still gotta be careful though. SMG, the trigger
No.
fingers are sharp. Alexi doing it yet again. 2-get-2.
Okay. But with that, it was a lot of players towards B, and OGX instantly knows another part of the map, A, probably is open. They go in for that spike plant. But again, we need those holds!
One enemy remaining.
Oh no! Not like this, SMG. Unbelievable shots ring it again. And Neri just failing out with the dash. Casper all alone now in a 1v4. Will look to be success for OGX. Falling apart at the seams. Fakes out the plant though. The owl drone will confirm. Oh, breaks that down. One falls. Casper gets the second. There's still a chance here for OGX.
Hold up,
Hybe.
look at the flank.
Kohabi's so far away though, and Dark's there. One comes down here, Quack.
Got a SAR.
It's low HP here for Alexei and Kohabi. Big chance now for Casper yet again. Inside the smoke, looking for a target, and Kohabi will find her so quickly. Clear sight lines and clear skies thanks to SMG. What
Out of charges.
a reversal of fortunes in the round. That's a Thrifty.
This is unbelievable. After such an amazing round, a quadruple kill from Twirly, insurmountable
round
efforts,
in
and
the
then
half.
SMG just comes in and like, we got sheriffs. You know what? We'll do you one better. We'll just take this whole round away with our sharp shooting. They went in for duels outside of B. They went back in with a retake. They managed to pick up some weapons, and they turned it into a 1vx situation where, of course, Kohabi just has the sensing to go in for that big old flank. And this is something that speaks a lot about how much Kohabi has grown as a player ever since, you know, last year
play?
from Renata
Let's
Sweat and
play.
whatnot. And now being the IGL, playing a Sentinel, she has grown so much, man.
And a stand up of SMG, but stand up Twirly take a bow after that shot. OGX, they get rid of the operator, so a big threat gone already. Shirazi though, she's made this angle work before. Jump peaks now, doesn't get any intel. As OGX decide to move towards A instead here.
All right. Taking things slow and steady. It is an 8-3 at the current moment. And if, as much as possible, they can turn this into an 8-4, they might have a better chance in the second half. That said, they will be on the defense, so you never quite know what's going to happen. But right now, SMG, given their current positioning, this suggests that they are just going in for a full-on retake setup. They know that OGX has a lot of weapons available to them. They know they have Aruma, possibly with her ultimate as well. So, just taking things carefully. Wait for the Cosmic Divide to drop.
And might as well OGX to get in position. And as SMG are looking for angles to clear, needs to be Camu. Looking to set
Right
things up
here.
well. She still has the utility for the team. Bolt line
Revealing
especially.
area.
Dark brings from Alexi though. Here comes the aftershock as well. And forces his way in the bad position. Aruma makes it more to force work, but SMG are just so confident and so ready. They're clearing us out the site so quickly. It's all Aruma now, and there's just no
What?
way when SMG are here to play. 9-3 to end the half with.
You gotta keep looking at that round. The way that they retake this, as soon as they go
Switching
in
sides.
towards that Nebula from Casper, they start firing off the cuff, and with that, they manage to find a couple of frags. Even with the off angle being held by OGX, it's just not enough. And you know what? I'm gonna stop talking now because our panelists will break down how this became a 9-3.
That's right. Get out of the way, Quack and Dax, and let the birthday girl here say her piece, right? Make way. But no, really, I mean, like SMG. Oh, Tash, what else were we expecting here? You know, they're just so precise here, and they're so prepared, especially up against OGX, who they know so well.
Yeah, I think that what really defines SMG, especially in this tournament, is I would say, the discipline. It's very different than what we expect before. I see a very mature SMG who is able to wait for each other, no hero plays. They have their protocols in place on how exactly to swing together, how exactly to get on site together. We never really see situations where we had to see one person anchoring entirely or one person already there and they go in alone. They're okay with giving up space. They're very confident in their abilities to play together and take up that space, even in a numbers advantage. Round 11 was honestly one of the best rounds, honestly, for OG. I mean, Casper, she managed to get that double kill before she finally got onto the site. But you know what Lexi did? Even though it's a one-on-one in that situation, she would rather wait for Kohabi to finish the rotation before actually taking that space. So this shows that they do have the understanding, they have the respect as well to make sure that they don't throw the game. Now, for OGX, I would say their aggression getting onto site has been huge. Twirly's, I would say, first blood potential has been massive. She sets up the stage for the team, but I feel like for SMG, they have the idea like, okay, 2 people are out, what do we do next? And at the end of the day, it also comes down to that aim jewels. It's just SMG a little bit sharper.
Yeah, and when you're up against a player like Ineri, for example, again, the sheriff shot, so iconic. How does this girl keep doing it consistently, by the way? But we're not done just yet. It is a 9-3. We're gonna see if OGX can possibly turn this around. Is it the time for that OGX comeback? We're gonna find out. Over to our casters.
You know, Quack, the birthday girl's very nice about things. I just want to say it outright. Team SMG, they're just the sharpest we've seen, I think, in the history of Game Changers APAC. And they can just do incredible things like that last round, the way that they can go for the clear, and it's really up to the rest of the field to find an answer. OGX, they got 3 rounds from the last half. They have a lot of work to do, and of course, all eyes on Twirly. Her first blood potential noted by Tash, already at the tippy top of things. It needs to be a bit more from the rest of the field, from the rest of the backline here from OGX to continue and try and succeed.
Yeah, and that's one of the major focal points for OGX right now. Despite Twirly coming in with heavy entries, you know, from the previous game that they played, 7 first kills across the board, now probably maybe a little bit more. You need the rest of the team to be able to hold down sites, but this time it's going to come into retakes, and that's another thing that we have to look at. SMG's already swarming the A site, and they have set up observation points towards A short, A long. How do you
Spike
retake
planted.
this?
Yeah, it's difficult. They still have the breach. They still have the Astra to work with. Chirazi already holding towards short flank, being covered here by both Chirazi and Kohibi, actually. And over onto the corner, familiar territory here for SMG, and Kohibi gets the connection. Usual stuff from her. Suedo with the trade.
Fantastic.
As you realize, checks out the lobby, notices someone going for the tap behind her. With SMG in the front lines, winning it with Alexi yet again. Suedo on the board. The room
player
also there to
standing.
stand. It's 2v1 now. Chirazi finding a kill with the ghost, yes. The Ruma running out of time. Crossfire being set yet again. SMG so prepared for this. So sharp, just so secure. That's SMG for you.
It is ridiculous, Dax. I mean, you're talking about, you know, the sharpest they have ever been. They really feel like, I mean, I don't want to do a lot of comparisons, but they feel like a team like maybe like Fnatic. You know, everyone is the cream of the crop. Everyone is in their tip-top condition, peak performance. And when you look at, yes, Kohibi with the sharpshooting, Alexi, maybe even Aneri as well when she's like popping off on the entries, you have a player like Chirazi, and she has that sense to just push out of A short to buy time, to keep Sway distracted before that retake finally comes in.
Oh, it's early, taking damage early. I love the attempt there from OGX, but SMG understand exactly how they're going to play out this round. Playing it slow on the anti-eco. I just want to say, man, I look back at the history of like basketball. There used to be a big 3 in Miami. Now there's a big 5 here for Team SMG, and ever since the start of the year, it's really just the powerhouse of this roster. Then you add in Aneri by Open 2, it just gets even better and better for SMG.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It really is. Do you remember when they used to like fight, it was SMG versus Bren Victress, and then of course you have Alter Ego. Now we just combine them all.
Yeah, might as
and then
well.
you get this squad. They're so good. And they're flexible is what I want to say. I mean, in this round, you know, not blindly aggressing into sites. They're controlled, in fact. And teams have to watch out for this. OGX, unfortunately, this could potentially be a flawless round.
SMG already on site.
Spike
Looking
planted.
at the Ruma, perhaps just tells 2 as bullets on Headhunter. Looking for a pick or 2. Orangutan struggling to find any kind of reprieve here on defense, and moving towards Garage right now, stacking a triplicate. They just want to do a bit of damage, but the turret spots them first and foremost. Sway here with contact. Kohibi tapping away. And yeah, OGX, there's just no way for them to really push into this. You have Kohibi and her turret. That's already enough by this point. You add in Aneri, prepared at the front line at smoke, ready to dissipate soon. This is a surefire win for SMG.
Yeah, OGX looking to die to the spike, perhaps. Okay, that's a nice consolation prize. But Kohibi comes. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no. Sacrifice 1 to get the 2. You think about it, right? SMG, they just want to farm a bit of ultimate orbs right now too, and Kohibi getting closer and closer to the lockdown. That's just icing on this cake, basically.
I can't. Like, I thought this was the icing on the cake, the classic shot for Orangutan. But then Kohibi just rears her head and's like, "Did you just shoot my teammate in the back?"
How dare you? How could you? It's not supposed to be this way.
What way is it supposed to be?
I'm just trying to make it a drama here, man.
I know.
It's one of those to be continued kind of things. But as we continue on, again, look at Kohibi's stats right now. She's just low-key one of the best fraggers in this roster. But let's go to Orangutan X instead. We're watching for Aruma. She's on the team for good reason. Just playing with the end of angles. Rendezvous out though because of the Al drone. SMG stacking heavy now, moving towards A.
Slowly making their way in. They know that there is at least one player on A site. Here comes the drone, and that confirms potentially more. They have, you know, bits of utility available, maybe just waiting for him to refresh. But Kohibi on this lurk as well. There we go.
He just lines it up so well with the Guardian. Another pick from SMG. They're on their bonus, and they're already taking the site here, Quack. It's so quick from them.
It's crazy. That's already the go signal. With Kohibi's presence up towards mid like that, it buys time because the rest of Orangutan X would be paranoid about rotating through this point. And then the rest of them can easily walk up with such confidence. Now the spike's planted, position's already held. Orangutan X needs a bit more vision, but it's being blocked off by Shirazi.
How can you see through the stars? And here comes Twirly though. She finds the impact, and Neri over at Graffiti making a masterpiece, making an artwork with the pips has the paintbrush also in hand. 3 for her, 3 for Neri. It's 1v1 now. Shorty risks the classic. The chase is on, and it's apparently Neri who wins it out anyway. Bonus 1 and match point now for SMG.
Match point.
Ugh.
It's knife through butter, Dax. Knife through butter. I mean, it's a good attempt at a retake. The way that they waterfalled off of Heaven from OGX, they managed to, you know, deal a little bit of damage. And it always comes close, like you mentioned. It always comes down to that final player, the last 1v1. But with the spike against them this time, and Neri, of course, you know, with the shorty doing those things. It's a little bit painful, but here we are, match point, timeout being called once again.
Bro, they already nerfed it, they already gave it a price increase, it still gets away with the most zany things from time to time. I gotta give it though to Orangutan X. That retake looked to be strong at the very start. Twirly again, I have no idea how she gets such a strong clear and such big impact on the takes on the attacking side, on the retakes here on the defense. But unfortunately for Orangutan, it's yet again that second wave of SMG. It's the backline who's in position to catch the rest of those kills along the way. It came in Aries' way when she was on default, and it's just been pretty much par for the course of the story of this game so far.
Yeah, it's like they have a big old net, and they're just waiting for the fish to jump in.
Yeah, and Twirly's that fighting fish. It's the one that tries to slap away, that refuses to get out of the water. But in the end, it's just such a wide net cast by SMG, and that's why they have such a wide lead.
I mean, you think about that, you know, you gotta find ways to support Twirly and to follow through with that, whether it's through utility from Japips or just timing everything together and make it so overwhelming. But whatever it is this time, match point, Twirly's on the judge. Maybe we can play for one more round.
If she can find Kohibi early on, that'll be huge here for Orangutan X. SMG preparing yet again like they did on the anti-eco, expecting Twirly to come out from the woodworks if ever. This patience play from Orangutan. This is from Aruma. This is gonna be big. Rendezvous maybe? No, it's Twirly instead who peeks. Well set up there by Orangutan. First it comes, but the job's not done because Aneri's already on site here, on top of the crates, moving over for Twirly and hits to get another 3 with the judge. Okay, overdrive that was shut down by Alexi. With the princess now versus the world. 1v4 with a spike on hand. Orangutan already getting away with some stellar picks, and they will survive the fight for another round. Well done by Orangutan.
Well done by Orangutan. Well done by Twirly. I mean, first of all, yes, that team play outside of Garage was fantastic. Aruma receiving contact, the fault line coming in, and then Twirly to just slam them down with a judge. That was perfect. She not only got that one kill, she continued to push past and set up for that C-long flank. And that's where things started to fall apart for SMG. But of course, we need rounds like that so much more because it's a 12-4 scoreline right now. And SMG, you can expect them to make some adjustments.
The big one has to be them not taking the Aruma bait, basically. It's a chamber. You can get out of there scot-free. And they'll look to try and help out the front line, but Neri needs more than that. Might need a band-aid after that one, man. Spam through the smoke, 20 HP left.
All right, Sway.
Okay.
Just getting a couple of taps. SMG rethinking about heading into A now. They need a Neri to kind of open up that site and create that space. So just kind of waiting out this drone right now. Oh, she does not see it.
Yeah, SMG staying in the shadows, waiting for the timing to move slowly into B sites. Set up the stars though, and now Neri dashing on forward. No fear despite the low HP. Lockdown's there to help out in the pinch. The Hunter's Fury going to be the call. They know it's aimed towards that lockdown. And just after finding Alexi along the way, sway on the board as well. And it's Orangutan already getting to. Seems like the lockdown, it's going to detonate. Doesn't find anyone though. 4v2 for the time being. Orangutan prioritizing well on those targets. And as a spike now
30
is
seconds
bound,
left.
the dart gets some big intel here for Orangutan X. It's SMG stuck. They need to fight back as an army of two here, Quack.
Spike's not done yet as well, so everyone's just kind of taking their time. But Kohibi, look at how she holds these angles.
Again, SMG still a threat. Orangutan, they have the numbers and they have the fast lane too. Japips and finds the angle. Shirazi falls and Twirly again just dances around the competition. Well done by Orangutan. Another round to survive here, Quack.
Yeah, fantastic movement coming out from this player. I mean, they're doing such incredible things. First of all, it's that sensing from SMG. I think they kind of knew Japips was suspecting it off of the drone, and SMG, as soon as they went in, they managed to take down a couple of players. But of course, the Hunter's Fury being pulled out as well was a signal for SMG to try to push and fight towards a link, and that's why they lost some players, but also gathered quite a bit of information. At that point, they knew that, all right, it's maybe one player towards C-Link, and we don't have to worry too much about that. Hence, Kohibi kind of playing towards that angle. But once the retake began, it was Twirly with that fast lane, and then kind of halting her movement for a second, going for that double peek with Japips. That really took down Kohibi and turned everything around. So 12-5, we go for one more.
Dude, these bait plays have been strong from Orangutan X so far in the past two rounds. Ruma now up in hand. Alexi will be sent packing. You gotta give it to OGX. Past few rounds, they've been adjusting well. I also give it to Japips, where as soon as she tagged one with the Hunter's Fury and expected the push, she just forgone the lockdown. They didn't need the break anyway. So those kind of calls essential for OGX. This one even better.
Spike down A.
Just in the comfort zone 2-2 with the op so far.
Let's see if we can find some more. You gotta plot the sportsmanship from OGX. They're not backing down. They're not giving up. It is Elite after all, and this is where elites will shine. SMG, they're still going for this round regardless. We've got Sheriffs, we've got the Blades. Spike is down.
I mean, we've seen what SMG can do with these Sheriffs before. The numbers are a problem, and the scan is even better. Aruma with 3 already, and Shirazi can't find her target. The cleanest round so far from OGX. The up in hand and the flawless to boot.
Yo, we're playing a movement shooter. Twirly's just like all up in your grill. You can't really guard against that. And then teammates come back in, and that's that follow-up that we've been wanting to see, especially from their attack side. But nonetheless, it is finally here. It is finally OGX coming back and punching through with all of these frags. The operator, the movement, everyone following in. Let's see if we can have that for one more round. I really like the combo with like Twirly and Japips with a recon as well.
Yeah, these are the strengths of Orangutan X's composition that we've been expecting so far. The safety of the angles that can be taken by the chamber. The space that Twirly can take, now assisted by the likes of Sway, the likes of Casper especially. And SMG are the ones to find the adjustment instead. Orangutan showing a lot of fight here, Quack.
Let's see more. Tapping the pause button for a little bit. They know that SMG has guns in this round, and they don't want to challenge them unnecessarily. But look at the setup towards C. You've got Aruma with this operator in such a forward position. She can always rendezvous out, like you mentioned before, Dax. And that's exactly what she's looking to do. Instant free kill.
Yeah, SMG can't play slow like this. Aruma will just pick them apart one by one. And she's ready yet again for another angle. Already spots out across from Eneric. Ivy though, that's a big clear. It's even better, the pressure from Alexi. SMG picking up the face well with the split. And now they get the sight. The Rolling Thunder, the call that will deny the objective flag. But look who's waiting on the corner to finish someone was Eneri at the ready. And Eneri, all hail the queen as she gets the 3 to end the map. SMG will take it here 30-6.
Everyone playing together in their boot camp, that's the team spirit. But Camille herself was kind of like shocked at how Neri went for those final kills. This is peak SMG, and if they keep this up, I mean, the rest of Elite, everyone's been harboring for it. Everyone's been clamoring for it. What more can we say? You just witnessed how they turned that around. Aruma got the first frag, but then SMG just decided to go.
Yeah, they picked up the pace so well. And if you are new to the Game Changers APAC scene, first, where have you been all this time? And second, welcome to what Eneri can bring. She's the queen of APAC for good reason. She's been hyped up, and SMG, of course, as dominant as can be. Still continuing on. Guys, so we'll throw it over to the panel to break down such an incredible map. Let's throw it over to Mika and the birthday girl herself, Dash.
That greeting's not going away. That's like your name for today, Tash. Tash the birthday girl. Tash the birthday girl bunny. But my jaw dropped at that last round. Oh my god.
I agree.
Mary is just so good. I was like, oh. But you know, it's all of SMG, right? It's what you were saying from the very beginning. SMG, I do have to commend, like, what stood out to me in this series was like their map control. They were not giving up any inch of space, right? On defense, you saw how aggressively like Eneri would push onto A long, and that would already beat back OGX. So suddenly they had to wait, for the optimum time. They had to play for picks. There were so many rounds where they had no choice but to play slow. Suddenly the momentum, Tash, wasn't theirs.
Honestly, I think that when you look at the situation, there were just so many rounds that were taken by OGX, especially in the second half. I think it's more of like understanding of how exactly to counter the way that that SMG took the site. In a lot of situations, they were shut down, and I think it's really important to note here that after a while, SMG tried to change up the way that they play. Now, I think that in the first half, we saw a lot of step-ups by Casper for OGX. In the second half, it was mostly Aruma, and I think that it's mostly because of how, a chamber is, especially on the defense side. But for SMG, I think what really, really gave them a big edge is more of like their, again, like Quack said, protocols, their set plays, how exactly they play on the site. Like just now in the last round, how exactly, we have one person taken out by the op by Aruma, how exactly are they still going to do that? Wait in the smoke for a little bit, burst onto site, and Neri disallowing the space and playing safe, and then allowing some time for Kohype to come out and take out anyone who's ready to clear her out. Because Neri, if anything, she is just the distraction, and the rest of her team is there to back her up. Now, coming into these scores now, we can see that in terms of post-plant, OGX is a little bit more on the higher side in terms of score. But then again, in terms of first kills, SMG, while it's not as high as OGX, but the first kill potential, especially from Twirly, has been massive. And I think the biggest problem on attack side that OGX had was that Twirly was ready to take the stage. Twirly was ready to set it up for her teammates, but there wasn't, it feels like a little bit of a disconnect between her and the rest of her teammates, possibly because they're not able to match her speed or disabled to be following her onto the site due to the utility used.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And like, I know that Dax and Quack were saying it as well. Twirly was just so fearless. She was so excellent at creating space, but the follow-up in the seconds after, right? She would entry, and then the weight that she left in her entry, there was that disconnect that you mentioned, right? For example, there was that round where Twirly, pushed onto A link, they were on attack, and you'd think there was opportunity for OGX to actually push in to B, but it wasn't there. It wasn't there. Perhaps, it was a different strategy or something, but it just felt like a missed opportunity at that point, especially since suddenly it was like Twirly went in, but for what? And then ended up just just fizzling out. So for OGX, I thought, by the way, at the very end, I thought it was the start of that comeback, but it looks like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for that. It's possible that we'll see it as we jump into the second map. We're gonna have to stay tuned to find out for the continuation of SMG versus OGX right after this very quick break.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Show me what you got. Back up, 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 back Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God. Any reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back,
Welcome back to APAC Elite. SMG has not dropped a map just yet. Is it gonna be this one? As we head into map number 2 versus OGX, is it gonna be Ascent? I'm not exactly sure. As we saw, SMG still looks very comfortable no matter what map you put in front of them, Tash. Birthday girl, Tash. My apologies. That's the thing.
I mean, not just about like what map you put in front of them, what weapon you put on them as well. I mean, we saw most rounds go high B was Guardian Gaming. We saw some rounds where SMG would just straight up aim duel, and just like own with just literally the sheriff.
A Nary Sheriff. Yeah.
Yes, a Nary Sheriff, and that was insane. And I think that in this situation, this is SMG's map. Again, reminding everyone that this is a very defender-sided map. And I think for a lot of people, they were complaining how hard it is to get onto site as attacker. But SMG, regardless of which team they have met, they knew the protocols and exactly how they wanted to execute onto a site itself. They knew how to play it slow. They have the right aggression to take up mid-site and come in from either main or even market. If it's toward maybe A, they are so, I would say, well-versed in the art of having perhaps a 4-1 split or a 3-2 play on where they want to come from mid-side, whether it's be from tree, market, pizza, or if they go all the way to the back. And I think this, I would say, this power comes from having Kohaibi with the lurks. She's been really, really massive and just insane with the timings, with those angles. See how exactly she plays and exactly how she holds those angles. Her movements are just so tiny, trying to make sure that she can get them, like even the tiny minuscule pixel of the enemy before they even spot her out.
She's been fantastic. I mean, like, she didn't get, I think she's been consistently getting MVPs for the side of SMG since we started Elite. So it's no surprise, right? Especially since we do know that she is, I believe, IGLing this time around, and it's working so well for SMG. I love what you mentioned earlier, Tash, about how SMG, it doesn't look like they're leaning too much into the hero plays as well, right? It's very much strategic, team plays, the set plays as well. So I mean, we're seeing this super well-oiled machine come out. through the entire game changer circuit into this final form that they're at. They're looking so good. On the side of OGX, though, as we noted earlier, it seemed like there was a little bit of that disconnect. Twirly perhaps getting a little too far ahead for her teammates. I do hope that coming into Ascent, a very default map, as we say, a map that everybody wants out of rotation, but for some reason it just won't be taken out of rotation. Right now, we are seeing. Oh, I thought we were going to see a mirror mirror match here. It doesn't look that way though. Very interesting, OGX.
It hasn't really been that way, in my opinion, for game changers, because a lot of the girls are more, I would say, well versed in playing what they're more comfortable as opposed to meta, which is what makes it a little bit more fun. Now, instead of a Sova, Pips is instead going for a Fade, which is very interesting because I feel like a Sova is very needed on this map. It gives you so much value in terms of those hard information that you can get from two different sites, and also, you know, we always love to see the Sova Odin come through. But regardless, coming into this particular game, I think we will see a showdown between Aruma as well as Kohaibi, the battle of those lurks. Who's gonna catch who in the middle of the mid rotations in the mid side? Who's gonna go a little bit more aggressive? And I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to see whether or not they can stop the aggressive attack side that we can see from SMG.
Who has more stopping power here on Ascent? So we are going to find out as we get into map number 2. So casters, over to you guys.
Thank you to our incredible host and our incredible birthday girl yet again. I gotta
Birthday
say,
girl.
I gotta say though, you know, we're in Ascent Quack, and I quote a man saying this to our work chat before this map started. Here we go again with an Ascent mirror competition, probably. And lo and behold, Orangutan X has answered our prayers. What do you think about this one? Raze, KO, Chamber. What is up with this?
I like it. First of all, are you not happy that it's a different composition? Are you not entertained, Dax?
I mean, I am entertained, but you are still a liar there, good sir. In the end, though, SMG, they are up on this series. Orangutan X looking to fight back with something pretty much coming out from the left field. And I do want to say here for SMG, I agree with Tash and her statements on the panel. They love to start on the attacking side. They have such an overwhelming approach, especially during these first halves. And I fully expect them to make those split plays happen, to get a bit of that mid control, give them avenues to hit these sites. And Orangutan X, they're going to need to find the X factor here to try and stop SMG.
They really do. I mean, just a couple days ago, SMG played this map against Nyx Kiyose. It was their map pick, so that tells you how comfortable SMG are on this map. And they ended their first attacking half 10-2. That's already incredibly strong. But of course, with an OGX that is trying to change up their composition a little bit, it's going to be a little bit interesting. I do think Raze with the Fade has a lot of synergy, and if Aruma can give us that same performance with her operator, like what we saw in Haven, things could happen. You know, you might be able to shut down players and make use of a lot of space on the map.
Yeah, my biggest concern for Aruma, perhaps she gets suppressed along the way, but immediately contact towards middle, early to fight back versus Kohaibi, but Inari will get the refrag along the way. Aruma, though, second shot gets the connection, 3v3 for the time being as we move towards that A site.
Inari down to 22 HP as well, and that is something that OGX can take advantage of. Right now, we do have Casper just kind of positioned around Garden, and with that, it's a lot of information. They know that they have a bit of an advantage. They just need the coordination to make it happen.
Spike planted.
Window, and now the spike is down. Window, trying
Knife
to
back
spam.
online.
Looking to go for a doorway, especially. Knife, though, you mentioned. Back online, ready to suppress, and for the intel, if ever.
Paranoia?
And there is the low HP. The fragment is enough to confirm that kill. Alexi, though, with a trade yet again. Crossfire being set here by SMG, and X marks the spot as SMG wins the pistol.
They just keep doing it. It's happening again, Dax. And the pistol round goes to SMG once more. I mean, yes, the fragment was really nice. Twirly going out for a little bit further. Maybe kind of, you know, it's hard to say with these things, but perhaps just overstayed her welcome for like 1 extra second. Tried to peek out into, I think, tiles perhaps, or maybe wanted to pick up a ghost, but that said, she unfortunately got taken out. She did do a lot of damage to Inari, but when it came down to it, it's that hell hold and the Paranoia from Casper didn't really hit anyone, so a little bit unfortunate, but that is it. And now we've got SMG Guardians again, Dax.
Guardian Gaming one more time. We've seen how good Kohibi has been so far with it. The MVP of the last round especially. But just goes to show how confident SMG is. Even if they tuck themselves away in a more committed position, they know they have the firepower, then the mechanics to hold down the line with.
Dude, they're holding as well.
It's their,
Not a lot of...
It's their play on the anti-eco, if you notice, because they
Yes.
know how aggressive the rest of OGX can be. Aruma gets one collapse for sure, but the rest of these kills funnel in towards the SMG way inside the smoke, though. Big surprise! Just in position, so at least OGX, they're making this costly. They throw the C's out as well to slow down SMG.
That's a classic. We're just holding on the other side as well. Casper, and it's a little bit dangerous now. The smoke's dissipated. Okay.
She's been found, she's been caught, and Japip's also tagged by the dart. They know exactly where she is on site. A try perhaps with a classic, but SMG will get the second round. At the very least, a few eco frags there from for OGX though.
Yeah, not too shabby. A bit of damage. Kind of funny. I want to see Japips again in that little last clip. Hops out like peekaboo.
What you doing here?
But yeah, you know, you try whatever you can. You've only got classics in that round, and it was really nice that she just hid inside of that smoke for a second longer. But that said, yeah. SMG, like you mentioned, anti-eco, it's always a bit of a slow pace. They did that on Haven. They're doing it again. And once more, it's just an SMG that's taking this seriously, an SMG that's really careful. And if they keep this up, we might just see another 10-2 first half.
Look, SMG, they built themselves a dominant resume all throughout the year. 3 championships in the Opens. It reminds me of a team before that had multiple championships and game changers, but they didn't make it to the world stage, right? So you can see why SMG is so disciplined this time around. You can see why SMG is taking every single round so seriously. And I wonder,
This round?
And let's see what we got here.
Okay. Very careful. Waiting for util, and then once they confirm a little bit more presence, they're moving out of tiles. Aruma on the other side, though, and the rendezvous is such a useful tool that she gets away with it scot-free.
And I wonder how SMG is going to adjust to that, because Orangutan X, you put the chamber on paper, and if you hit that suppress and you push that angle, there's no way for that chamber to escape. If Aruma can get away from those 0 points, the cameo tosses early on, then it's a perfect way for OGX
30
to find
seconds
an angle
left
to get a pick for free.
And her trips just give her a little bit more presence across the map as well, just a little bit, and it's something that they're making use of. So SMG kind of needs to suss out her positioning now. But here we go into the A site, and
Spike down
OGX is
A.
already on the scene.
So ready and they're so prepared. Rifles are out, and SMG is kicked to the curb. Orangutan X, a flawless buy around to keep the pace going.
This is inspiring confidence. I mean, first of all, the frag from Aruma, positioning the way that she held this angle, really lovely stuff. But the rest of the team as well, instantly rotating over. They knew that they had players on B, so they didn't worry too much about that. But then the angles being held on A site, the C's being tossed out, Japips holding the off angle. Again, it's just what we need to see from Orangutan X. And all right, I don't think it's going to be a 10-2 anymore.
Yeah, no way. It's Orangutan X ready to play. And I wonder now how SMG is going to adjust how they're going to get guarded this insult. Throw the knife towards the cubby. And that's the timing window that Aruma looks to work with. And now Swamzo into play. Aruma now prepares it again for the contact. But Kohibi wins her duel and win the second. Twirly with trade. 4v4 for the time being as SMG take mid instead.
Okay, push past in, broken the door. But with that presence being made, now they're thinking, all right, we've created enough pressure. Maybe we've pulled some rotations over. We could rotate over onto the A site, but they're still being careful about this. And that's what I love. If you pay attention as well, Sway's just kind of positioned herself for a bit of a retake. Casper's pushing out, and she punishes Shirazi for her carelessness.
So the strike, and Neri even found by Casper. No need for the paranoia. All she needs is the sideline. Sure, Casper is suppressed for the time being. Alexi will finally punish her angle. It's 2v3 though. And we've seen what SMG can do with the duo.
One
They
enemy
play,
remaining.
hold down the line.
Spike
Looking
down
like the
A.
answer to be yes. Alexi though with a fight back. There we go with Alexi still
30 seconds
in this skirmish. By the Jenny, there's no power
much
for her to
for
work
their
with.
elite
Chipips has the
agents.
angle, and Orangutan tie things up.
Yeah, just not a lot of electricity surging in this round for SMG. They took things slow, they tried to be careful, and they tried to rotate over off of Kohibi's death, but then as soon as that happened, the positioning being held, the initial frags from Casper, as well as Sway towards the end, it really put a halt to things, and it's almost as if SMG was kind of falling asleep at the wheel for a second. Like, they weren't kind of that careful, not really sure who could be hiding on site and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a game of timings right now from Orangutan X. And especially the big one we mentioned a while ago. As soon as Cameo throws that knife, that's the moment where Aruma can make that space, and then someone else has to work on the other side of the map with. Op is out though, Ivy avoiding her demise. Nanostorm also for a bit of space to work with. Let's not forget SMG. They're on the eco around here. And Swiss is prepared. Nice angle, and Neri, even better shot. The Blade Storm looking to be the sky-high demise of the opposition. Aruma needs to hit the target and fast. The fragment for pressure, and the Blades to eviscerate her. Here comes SMG now on side 3v3 for the time being.
We slice them apart, we have the site, now it's going in for the stick, but here comes Orangutan X are already ready to push in.
There, and the spike isn't down yet, but Neri picks
One
up the
enemy
gun,
remaining.
picks up the op, and her whole arsenal are netting her these kills. Shirazi with that final blow, and SMG steals this away.
How many thrifties have we had today already? This is like the second one. I guess it's the second one.
I think
Oh my
so.
god, Dex.
It's not like this though. Look at the gun game that Neri played. From the sheriff to the knives to the op to the sheriff yet again.
4 kills!
4 kills front to back on that B site.
The entire site taken by this one player, Odella. And she keeps doing it. And it just happens off of like maybe her teammates, and she has to kind of like bait them for a little bit. Someone dies and she goes in for that sudden peek, and then as soon as she has blades, everything gets turned up to 11. Now we go back into it. OGX tried to push against her, but she's still ready on the trigger.
Yeah,
OGX continues though.
They have the push, they found the angles, and this is what SMG are fearful of. They love to play a slower pace sometimes at the start because they know Orangutan X loves to contest. It's 3v3 though for the time being, and A-Site's taking their back.
Spike planted.
And with that, they've got a bit more space to work with. Shirazi able to sneak under Hell. Paranoia is available. Here comes the Nightfall, and that could be very pesky. The rest of them are holding different positions just to kind of use Shirazi as a bit of bait.
Yeah, they know the Hell position's there, and Casper will clear it out well, but do they realize
enemy
Kohibi at the ready again?
One
One
enemy
now,
remaining.
and Kohibi
Nice.
cannot clutch perhaps, so it's Alexi still alive though, my mistake, but there you go, no mistake with that shock dart whatsoever. SMG, another round taken.
Our arrows will blot out the sun. Lexi just makes it happen. Doesn't look at it. Turns away. Kohibi in that moment with the way that they play off of each other as well. Look at how she peeks out. The timing on this is pristine. She makes use of her teammates as a bit of a distraction and then peeks at the right time when they're not looking at her. They had no idea that she was hiding under generator. They might have assumed it and might have maybe suspected it, but they weren't prepared for it. And that's why we go into round 7. 4 ultimates on the side of OGX. Maybe they can make something happen with Aruma's tour de force.
Look, man, I'm only human. I make mistakes, but Princess Alexi, she is a machine. Just SMG. They always put themselves in these positions where they have a way to clutch out these scenarios. And the biggest chance right now OGX has is finding early on. Here comes a flash though, and Aruma has back on the way with tour de force. The lockdown though gonna be the call here from SMG to make more space as needed.
Alright, and with a little bit more time as well, Sway comes back in to hold the angle for a second. Just making sure that they can't really get into sight for free. But Neri does her thing, opens up space. Everyone is able to kind of sneak onto site now. Spike still being delivered, however. And with all this time, OGX is ready to retake right on the go.
Oh, big paranoia though, keeping Twirly at bay. Judge
And
that
the
hell.
KO,
You
no
also
command.
get the ultimate, as you mentioned, and Cameo, the 1-2 punch, the knockouts come, and it's all SMG on the board. What else can Orangutan do by this scenario? Seems like absolutely nothing. Convincing is an understatement. It's SMG's flawless round.
Flawless round and a perfect counter. The way that they just went in for this, staggering the ultimate stacks. First a lockdown, yes, an Neri dashing in, and it's just more, I guess, tempting signals for OGX to peek out. And once she heard that showstopper, Camille pops her ultimate, perfectly canceling any game plan that OGX had in mind. And I don't know if they were aware of this possibly happening. They just tried to go in for it, but Camille just did everything in that round, and everyone started holding angles. Of course, OGX on the eco wasn't quite able to fight back against that. So round 8 now. We've got a timeout from Coach Gunnar.
Orangutan X, what else can they do by this point? We saw how effective their early peaks were a while ago, but now SMG's finding the answers, coming into these post plants, having the answer in their arsenal. And you notice the angles that they take. It's something Tash has been hyping up to us even before this series. You keep an eye out or SMG plays off site from. You have big players who put themselves in strong positions. You saw from Shirazi, you saw from Cameo, just those angles, they don't just get like peak angles, right? They don't just not for the firefight, they're also for that incredible utility that can help them out.
Yeah, it's always just this insane teamwork that they have. Angles being held not necessarily linear, and they're always isolating and making sure that they're not exposed to too much risk. And also, like you mentioned, the utility that comes in off of it. Now, we go back to a slightly slower play. SMG not rushing blindly, maybe a little bit more default in case anyone from Orangutan X pushes out. And that's it. It's the operator from Aruma that sounded off, and Neri getting a tag.
Yeah, Neri's still alive, but barely breathing. The pressure there from the utility towards Aruma, but still SMG. You need to be wary playing that long sideline. OGX has been goading them so far to play that angle. Instead though, Quack, we move towards short, we move towards 3. And on site already for Neri, looking around, trying to find Cat. He gets one, and Neri quick trade to open things up.
And that's how we break even, Dax. We've managed to get into sight now, 4-on-4. And Neri's still online despite being a little bit low. This, our cover, might just enable her to push in a little bit deeper.
Smoke now, the drop to Ever, swirly though, breaking the door, the blast backs, enable her movement, but as soon as the smoke falls, it's a Neri who gets one, traded quickly, SMG on the board, Japips over the fight back, here comes Cameo though, to get another one, clears that doorway, everything left to Japips here. Run to the high ground, tries towards Jenny, but Cameo is just so ready, so stealthy, so prepared, it's SMG with another one.
It's that positioning again, man. Camille was like just crouched at the same time too. Japips trying to go for that hop. You know, it's an attempt at throwing off the final 2 players. But when they are that prepared, that ready, anything that you throw at them, as soon as they hear that sound, as soon as they see your player model falling from the skies, it's easy tracking. And 2-6, SMG does not slow down. They've won 4 rounds in a row now.
Yeah, SMG, as soon as they got those clutch moments, especially from Alexia and Neri, everything has changed. And maybe we spoke too soon a while ago that SMG can get 10.5 again.
Well,
Judge? This Judge, Twirly's been affected with it as a Leon. This time around, she gets one as SMG are so quick to punish it. 4v4 though. Good damage done by OGX despite it. They do back away now towards the site, and SMG are rethinking their plans.
Yeah, not too shabby. Well, they got control of B-main as well, so like, alright, we'll take the alt orb. And what's really nice is, I guess, that early haunt from Japips, it was a bit of a tell for SMG to be prepared for any possible contest towards this one spot of the map. Now that they have control again, though, just kind of biding their time. A second haunt being thrown out confirms their location. SMG, I guess they're just waiting for this.
It's there, and it's clear by Shirazi. Did it get any intel towards Behiven? That's the big question. The smokes are out. SMG whittling on the timer. Turret though for the PB. Very offensive with their utility so far. And Cameo
30 seconds
looks
left
to provide even more space. Now then, B side, right for the taking. Aruma though with a fight back. Alarm bot broken quickly. As Shirazi goes to the plant, though.
Spike
Aruma's
planted.
still around here on the side, Quack. 3v3 for the time being. Paranoia gets a connection,
look
but
at
no
Kohabi.
push still. It's so difficult for OGX to find any space to work with.
Oh, no.
And here comes now even more damage. Alexi on the board. Big advantage now here for SMG. OGX just trying to find the right lane. Trying to find the right road to cross towards the site with. But there's no way, no how. This toll is too steep for them to pay. And as
saving?
time's running out, they have to save. Maybe exits here from Sway and Casper. They look to do some damage, and
not
Casper
bad.
provides it. There's the first. There's the second from her. Looking for a third. Even runs out of bullets. Gets the cover in
enemy
time, though.
remaining.
Here comes another one from Casper. But that's all she will get. The round taken by SMG, but OGX taking lives at the end.
And that's always the thing. You can see the difference between the two teams. Everyone is mechanically skilled. At this level, a Game Changers APAC lead, they have to be. They definitely are. Casper finding all these frags is absolutely wonderful. But coming back into it, you look at how Kohabi holds that speedway or lane angle along with her teammate. That's the difference in teamwork. That's how SMG holds these angles and ensures that it's a big roadblock that OGX cannot break through unless they have a specific game plan in mind. And Casper throwing out the early paranoia as well kind of was a bit of a tell that, yeah, the retake wasn't that coordinated. Aruma wasn't able to capitalize off of that thing.
Yeah, it was more of a bail out for Aruma. Someone is pushing her instead. And just because of it, SMG took advantage of the situation. And we've seen that happen multiple times in the run this year. Aldrone though to begin with. Kohabi, she's done this so many times. Nano Swarm to clear out the first angle towards B main. The second Nano Swarm towards the log itself. And SMG, so much presence applied on the offense, allows the rest of the team to slip unnoticed towards A.
Ridiculous. They're doing it from, like, safety as well. So they're not exposed. They're still alive. And with that intel, they know that A side is completely open, and Eri just rushes straight in. She might even push past this for 1 second. Here we go.
A single tick of damage, sure, but it can be critical from her if she makes her marks count. Smoke yet
7 more
again.
seconds.
Waiting to dissipate. Look at this guy knowing the countdown on the smoke. And here comes the flash. There's the anti-flash position. Cameo with the cover. Casper though with a quick little trade. And looks like this high ground looking to be held by OGX. Japips finding those targets, but it's 2v3 and advantage of SMG. Holding towards Ryan Knight now. Wanting to play offside. Over with the snaps here from Aruma, though, trying to bait out the peak if ever. But SMG trying to play discipline. Shirazi, though, caught in the app. 2v2 for now. And Kohabi and Alexi, what can they do from this angle? Here comes the double up. Here comes the peak. And here comes SMG. 8-2 for them.
You remember how I said earlier on, like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
OGX
did.
won the second win.
I called you
This
out
is
a few
probably
rounds
not gonna
ago.
be 10-2.
I called you out a few rounds ago that it might
I think
not
it's gonna
happen.
happen again, Dex. I keep eating my words watching these two teams play. Sometimes it just looks like OGX can come back, they can be strong, and then SMG just does this. Like, they always have a contingency plan. If one player falls, if an Eri falls, Kohabi's there to back up Heaven, and they make it an even trade. If, you know, the last two players alive, both are positioned outside of Wine just to force OGX to take that fight, and it's a fight that they unfortunately are not able to win. OGX's round wins so far have come out from aggressive picks, aggressive takes early on in the round, and Aruma, with this operator right now in her hands, might be able to make something happen.
I think the biggest concern also is if you look at the trade system for these two teams, SMG, you mentioned how Cameo positioned with Mary. More proactive rather than OGX, who has been reactive in trying to even up the numbers. Let's see though who can lead this dance as Casper versus Neri. And it looks like Casper gets away, but it's Aruma who's caught by Shirazi instead. Another peek though from Casper, the second chance for the second frag, but Neri's there to pick up that kill. Nightfall though, essential on the retake. Japips getting some good decays done, but Kohabi playing away, finding the target, and Neri on board as well. And here we go again, the SMG standard looking clear. Japips versus the three on the opposite end. Turret spots her immediately. The light armor to work, but sure, the Nano Swarm providing pressure even. Japips needs to stay the course over onto the high ground. That will be her gravestone. SMG, it's just another one. What has this
Last
streak
round
been, Quack?
before the switch.
7 in a row?
Oh yeah. I think so. Yeah, I'm not even sure anymore. Might be 8? No. I think it's 7. We started off pistol and then the subsequent round, and yeah,
it's
7.
2-2 to 9-2.
Oh my god, Dax, and here we go. Last round of the first half. I mean, Kohibi even jump peeking in that last bit. Japibs was just like, okay, how do I take this now? Just has to go in for it. And everyone is watching all of these separate angles because it's layers on top of layers of like defense and trades. You talk about that trading system, and here it is.
Yeah, well, judge in hand. Let's see if it can work this time. The Prowler good for the close clears as ever. Kohibi, she wants to get away with it, and Neri's there to help her out in that pitch. The season to play. Aruma, though, makes the trade. 4v4, the snap out there with a rendezvous, and the reposition from OGX on site.
Not too shabby. Both inside the boathouse. Casper giving them a little bit of additional support with that dark cover on the site. SMG not committing though, and they might just cut noise again. Hence, it's such a tense moment for both teams. SMG, you know, feeling a little bit more comfortable, surely, but OGX without the additional player, they have to be split up. Dax.
Yeah. They're not gonna have the space, but I feel like they're waiting now, especially for Camu to get that knife back. And lo and behold, he's ready with that utility. They can clear out with intel if ever, because Alexi's ready with a recon as well.
30 seconds left.
Press comes, gets connection onto Aruma. That's big, because she can't get away if ever. Camu spotting her out. Here comes SMG now, moving towards the side. The Pips though, low HP,
nice try.
and lo and behold, she only gets one for a trouble. 3v2 for the time being. SMG's on site here.
Positions being held as well. All right, a null command coming in from Camus.
It's a big warning.
Side X.
Bro, it's a red flag that says, stay away! Stay away! No way, no how, no in here. And Sway and Casper try to South Asia. What can they do here? Absolutely nothing. Kohibi connects again. And 10-2. Looks like you're wrong again, Quack. It's happened.
It's happened! It's a 10-2! I thought it wasn't gonna be, but alright, I'm gonna eat my words. We saw 10-2 against Nyx Kyose a couple days ago. It's a 10-2 again today, and that is how strong Team SMG is in Game Changers APAC Elite. Our panelists will tell us exactly why.
Oh my gosh, Quack eating his words once again. But what I want to know is what our birthday girl is eating this time around on while we're in halftime.
This is called the Ritual Broccoli. It was brought first on air last year during APAC LCQ, and I'm bringing it here during Elite APAC. Now, let's talk a little bit about what we saw just now. We saw a lot of step-ups. We talked a lot about Kohibi from SMG in the previous map. I really want to zoom in on Camille in this map. Her plays, her disabling as a KO has been massive. It really disallows so much space and takes away so much, I would say, advantage from the team of Orangutan X. And on top of that, she has been multi-fragging like crazy. Usually we think of a KO like a pocket KO to enable your duelist, to enable your teammates. The way she plays KO is a little bit more selfish at times when it has to be. And I think this has been very, very massive to allow her that multi-frags and multi-picks. And on top of that, the speed, or rather the aggression coming through from SMG is just something that's not being able to be quashed by Orangutan X. They've tried so many different ways, whether it be together or even the hero type of play, they still keep getting picked off one by one. It's been very, very hard for them. And honestly, if I could predict anything, I'm kind of hoping to see a comeback by Orangutan X because we need map number 3, so I'm going to eat this like Quack eats his word.
The superfood, right? And that's exactly what Orangutan X needs, by the way, to power them through to the second half. I mean, we already knew that SMG was so dominant on attack, so we had kind of guessed this would happen. But is this time for Orangutan X to make their comeback? We're gonna find out as we step back into Ascent over to Dax and to Quack. Almost messed that up.
Thanks for remembering my name this time, Mika. And of course, I'd rather listen to the birthday predictions of Tash over the predictions of Quack. That's for sure.
Yes.
Because you see the scoreboard, Quack. That's like 8 rounds in a row, my friend, for SMG.
There we go. Number one thing, never ever listen to Quack. That's why I'm a quack. I just spout nonsense all the time. But you know what? As we head into this second half, it's a 10-2 scoreline. And SMG It's over, Anakin. We have the higher ground.
Watched episode 3 recently, huh? Like the Fire's of Mustafar though, Orangutan X, it's quite an inferno they're walking into. 8 rounds the gap, moving now to the attacking side of SMG. Here comes Alexi. Oh, Japips gets away with her life, but barely 4 HP left. The courtyard clash though, here in mid. OGX disengage, moves towards the short side instead. Cubby, now Tree. Sway looking to lead the charge, break that doorway. And SMG staying away from this convoy. They don't want to deal with the numbers right now that Orangutan's bringing here.
And they've taken A main. And it's just more angles for Orangutan X to hold right now. Casper kind of lurking behind. They're trying to make sure that nobody comes up from heaven, which is not bad, but here comes...
Oh, Alexi! What? Swirly! I love the blast back in play. Kohaibi though, ready and clear cut on her spots. All left now to Aruma in the 1v3. Tries to play away, but big suppress, big intel. And an unsung hero all throughout so far. Camu has been, well, she will be known this time around with that final kill. 11 now for SMG as they continue to streak into the second half.
Yeah, it's a nice attempt at a mid-round adaptation coming out from Orangutan X, but so far, this is flawless. Well, 4 out of 4 pistol wins for Team SMG right now. With that round, you just see how they position themselves, and you get a very clear idea that this is the SMG standard operating procedure. Someone comes through A short, we're gonna shut the door, take control over A main. Nobody's there, we're good. We can hold from this one spot. Meanwhile, the rest of them come in from heaven, and effectively, they turn this entire thing into another sort of a split retake. And OGX just has so many angles to watch out for.
And just the pressure all throughout. OGX using utility early to clear out every angle they expect. And now do they expect the guard chant? They should by now be Kohaibi's, because Kohaibi has been good for it. First kill comes her way. The smoke in the way, the suppress is there, and the utility setup from SMG is just overwhelming. Sway though has crossed towards the side. Here comes the patience from SMG as Alexi finds Casper instead. So the plan so far here for a lot of finding an area Sway on board as well. But Shirazi judge in hand. The hips, feel for the classic. Alexi even so close, but so far, and everything's left to Kohaibi now. How did it fall apart here for Team SMG? OGX, they had the answer, but can they finish off the job? One, no, the press is there, but Kohaibi needs no utility. 1v1 now. Sway versus Kohaibi. Who can clutch it? Of course, it's Kohaibi, the golden standard, the shot caller, and the clutch killer. It's 12-2 for SMG. Big damage though by OGX in that last round.
The golden standard, Dax. Oh my goodness. Every single match that we've had, every single game, just the amount of depth this player has had, the amount of growth that she's had so far now. Top fragging, making the calls, so clean and sharp with the movement, and the sense to seize the initiative to cross stairs and isolate that duel against Japips up by logs. Makes things so much easier for her in a 1-on-2 situation. And now that they are match series point, excuse me, they're calling a timeout, Dax.
No, I mean, they should. That was a sloppy round for SMG, honestly.
Oh, okay, yes.
I'll be real. Orangutan X did incredible there. It was hype for Kohaibi to get that clutch. And as per usual, she does it for the team, but SMG...
You got some high standards.
Dude, they're the ones who set the standard. That's the truth.
True.
It has to be, as for SMG, as dominant as can be. And Orangutan X, we saw this in the last map. When it came down to match point, they would find ways to innovate. They have incredible players. You look at Casper, you look at Dorley, who's done so well so far. You look at Japips also, who stepped up into this game. There is a threat still in the Orangutan X, and SMG, they need to close it out cleanly, if ever. If not in this round, into the next.
Well,
yeah. I'm sorry to be such a nihilist, man, you know? I got real talk here real quick, you know?
Yeah. I get you, but still, I mean, like, come on, give us a break.
Bring them down.
Series point, they still got guns. I don't want to count SMG. And OGX are forced by enough. They're trying to make this count as well.
Yeah, well, they have the space to work with if they can cross up the speedway, but Alexi has other plans.
So
Looks like Japips will find her trying to get away. And 2-for-1, the trade working out for SMG. The lesser buy, no problem for them.
All right, we've got Japips still outside of B main. Sway backing her up as well. It's the rifles against rifles, but they get smoked off. They're looking to use this to kind of push through. Pressure created by Casper now, though, but immediately turns around! What? 3 flicks! Sheriff shots! And that's the round over. Kohibi covers her mouth.
I did the exact same thing. I just did the exact same thing. I am speechless with how these games end from SMG. And no matter what you have to say, no matter what they have to talk about, in the end, they just end the SMG way. Wow. Come on. Look, we were talking about how the KO was the linchpin of the map, how she was more of an unsung hero compared to what Kohibi and what Ineri would do, but...
It's a sheriff.
Come on, SMG.
That's the thing. It's not just Kohibi anymore. It's not just Shirazi. It's not just Neri. Camille's coming in as well.
That's all. That's all.
That's the
all,
analysis.
Folks. That's it.
That's
and
all.
Bro, as per usual, from series point to series win, it's SMG who is our first upper bracket finalist, waiting of course to see the winner of our next series. But before anything else, we'll toss it over to our panel to break down an incredible win by SMG so far.
And for the second time today, it ends with an amazing 3K. I mean, I think in the first map, it was a Neri suddenly making our jaws drop, and now it's Camille who is doing the exact same thing. I mean, what is it? The S in SMG stands for Sheriff, I have to say, because it's like, these ladies are just so amazing, and, you know, they're just able to pull out these plays, and it's... I don't know. It's SMG. This is why, you know, they're pretty much the favorites right now to take Elite. I mean, Tash, I saw your expression there. As it
was like frozen in time for a long time. I was just like
2 minutes where you're like, oh.
I mean, I appreciate good plays. But I was not expecting that Sheriff play. Somebody check her PC. But anyways, jokes aside, I mean, I did mention her in the halftime just now about like why you should keep your eyes on Camille. She's been a little bit more quiet compared to the rest of her teammates. Her job has been more towards support. But today, I think she's trying to make a standard that support can also be as flashy and as fraggy as the rest of the team. And I think that for her, end of the day, I mean, I did say that how she plays with her util can be very selfish. I want to take that back because end of the day, just now, it was just straight up aim duel. It was just straight up really, really good aim, really, really good flicks. And coming into this, a 13-2 on this map, yes, they were able to come back from 11-1 before, but this time around, SMG says the Orangutan doesn't sing twice.
13-2. I mean, the scoreline speaks for itself at this point, right? And it was just so difficult for OGX. You know, in the first map, we were talking about how there was like a little bit of a disconnect, but they did have that fight. Here, though, it was just so you know, the gap was there, and at the same time, it just didn't feel like OGX had the ability to push back against SMG in any point during this. You know, it's like it's again, it's very, very difficult because it is Team SMG, and at the same time, I felt like their composition also didn't set them up for as much success, right? As the, you know, compared to the default composition that everybody has on Ascent. You know, you didn't actually see Twirly, you know, able to get in the sites as quickly as maybe she would have done if she was on Jet, for example. You know, I just think that also, like, on the side of SMG, it's just way too oppressive, right? Kohibi, I have to mention, you know, we were talking a lot about Camille earlier, and that's like, okay, we already saw how powerful she can be. Kohibi, I absolutely love that she's playing the role of the sweeper, right? Throughout this whole series.
In Malaysia, we call it DBKL.
What's DBKL?
The Kuala Lumpur Council that cleans up the city.
Oh! Right. Exactly. That's her, right? Because, like, for example, there was a round wherein, like, for example, you had Alexi and Ineri in Hell on A side, I believe, and they were tagged. And as OGX were in to cover to corner them, Kohibi was there to provide cover. And in another case, you have everybody on SMG who falls, and it's okay. Kohibi's there to clutch. You know, she's so decisive. And she is just so clean, and she is keeping these maps clean for Team SMG, Dash.
Speaking of clean, Camille has been Exactly that. I mean, in terms of how she really helps the team not only take the site, but also in terms of disabling. In so many situations, I want to bring back the attention to their utility management. Because if you remember in so many rounds, yes, they do get the site pretty, I would say, aggressively. And they try to in a way where they don't have to use all of their utilities in one go. They don't utility dump, I think is what I want to say here. And in so many situations, we see a lot of rounds where they're able to just really, I would say, be able to play post plant because they still have some utilities left over, especially on the side of Alexi. Regardless, I think that was a really good game. And what's coming next, Mika?
Yeah, and we do have an interview coming up next before we get into another heated match, by the way. But going back to, what you mentioned about, like, the usage of utility, that's so interesting because, like, it's part of why you never really see SMG sweat. You don't really see them scramble because they have this, rotation wherein it's like they're able to still pull out things from their hands to be able to use every single round, right? And we can maybe, find out the secret to that in just a little bit as we step into this interview. I believe we have the whole team on board, Tash. So let's bring them on up to your screens. Hello, ladies. Congratulations on your win. Hello, guys. Hi.
Hello.
Congratulations
Hello.
on your win. The victory streak continues for you, ladies. That's been amazing so far. I'll start it off. First question for you guys. I want to know what your biggest challenge has been so far in this year, right? Because it doesn't seem like there's been any, a challenge for you guys just yet, but maybe it's something from behind the scenes. Can you share a little something with us?
I feel that it's just us. Like, our biggest challenge is ourselves because we are kind of like nervous whenever we play tournament. And not a lot of teams are like on par with us, so I really think that we only have to get over the anxiety that we face during tournament.
Themselves. They're their biggest
Yeah.
enemy.
Yeah.
Why am I not
honest-
surprised?
I mean, end of the day, improvement is more about you racing with you, and I think this is a huge statement done by them because they're looking to be better than themselves yesterday. I have a question for all of you guys. So I was talking a little bit with your manager about a change in your roster, Fall moving out and Colbat coming in. I think Open 3, he was the coach for you guys for the entire time and coming into this tournament as well. So what's it like changing your coach? Is there a lot of changes, or is it just like honestly or is it just like chill and you guys didn't have to worry too much because of the styles of the coaches being the same?
Honestly, there wasn't much a big difference. A lot of people might not know this, but Colbat was our analyst before, while Falfal was our coach. Yeah, so there wasn't really a big difference. Just Colbat is now our coach instead of analyst.
Right. So honestly, I think that if anything, and we didn't really see too much of a dramatic change for you guys in your team, but I think that for your play today, it looks a little bit more patient, it looks a little bit more clean compared to the previous, I would say the previous Open. And I saw that you guys are smiling. Can you tell us a little bit about like what you changed in terms of how you play that is a little bit more, I would say, patient and a little bit more disciplined?
We kind of watched their board and saw how long it took for them to run down the clock. Like, we only execute under like 50 seconds. So we studied them, but we still played our own style. Yeah.
It's homework done well, right?
Yeah, and Lexi, why are you getting so close to me? Like, I can touch your face. Oh, thanks, mom. Okay, so I think in your undefeated streak this time, I'm so sorry, Mika, I'll take one more question from you.
Go ahead.
In your undefeated streak, was this planned? And if this wasn't planned, which team were you sort of worried about coming into the elite?
For this elite, I think we prepared a lot. Like, we didn't expect much from wait. Got it.
Huh? What do you say?
Like, we prepared for everything. We didn't.
Yeah, we prepared for everything. Every team, like, none of them is a threat to us. It's just we are well prepared. We don't look up to any team but ourselves. Yeah.
Amazing way to end the interview. There is no threat to SMG so far. And of course, the biggest threat is themselves. Thank you very much, ladies. Congratulations on the ongoing victory run, and we wish you the best of luck.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Tashani.
birthday!
Thank you! The squeals from both of us, they're just so adorable.
They are. Thank you so much to SMG for the birthday wish, and honestly, well played by them. Looking forward to see more of them. Let's see how they go in the upper bracket run. But after this, lower bracket run, what do you think, Mika?
Well, gonna be really, really dicey indeed. Before that, though, we do have Full Sense Sapphire and RQ Kaguya coming up right after this very quick break. Don't go anywhere. Game Changers will be right back.
Spike down.
Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank, 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 got the money in the bank. Hit you with the
Enemy remaining.
hit you with the 808. Hit you with the got money in the bank.